Alright, welcome back to the channel and welcome back to American Truck Simulator. Today we are in Eagle Valley, Montana. We are going to be doing a short drive in a little bit, but as the title suggests, we're going to talk a little bit more about the transmission that we have selected here. If you are not into different transmissions, looking at the ratios, if you're not interested in a new shift pattern, oh, I'm fine with my 13 speed, I'm fine with my 18 speed, this probably isn't going to be the video for you. However, if you want to see the truck, this is the Mack R from Harvan. We have the Mack R, or we have the Mack flat step deck. That's Bart's, I believe. And we also have SlavJerry's new E6 engine. It's only been out for a few days. It pairs really well with the Mack R, but the highlight of it is this transmission. It is a MaxiTorque TM-309M. It is spec'd to whatever specs the manufacturer had in it, and we also have the unique shift layout for how to shift it. So first part is I'm going to go through the unique parts about this transmission. I'm going to show you how to shift it. Then in part two here, and this, I'm not going to make this like an hour-long video. We're going to go along pretty quick here. The second part of the video is I'm going to show you, it's a short drive basically. I want to go drive to pick up something, and then I want to pick up a load that's pretty heavy. That way you can see me driving empty, how it shifts, and you can see how it shifts when I've got some weight on it. The third part is very short. I'm just going to tell you where you can get this transmission and where you can get the gearbox layout file. That's basically the thing that you put in that says, this is how I shift it when I'm shifting it to here, when I'm hitting the range knob or the splitter. The computer will know what, the game will know what to do. So let's go ahead and get into it. I will have chapter titles down below if you want to skip to the drive, or if you just want to know where you can get this at the very end. You know, skip around as you want. But let's get into it. Okay, the TM-309M gearbox. It's a Maxitorque engine made for Mack. It is a high torque transmission. And by that I mean in your lowest gear, you have a ratio of 25-1. So that means you're going to be moving slow, but you're going to have max torque, and you're going to be able to get out of a lot of sticky situations. Let's say we're in the dirt like we are now, loose gravel, we're on a hill, and we've got 70, 80,000 pounds of a load. We can still get out of that using our low gears. Another thing that I really wanted to point out here, we have 6 highway gears, we have 6 reverse gears, and we have 3 low gears. And those 3 low gears, they're really important. Even though you'll see it laid out, and I'm actually going to go ahead and put this up on the screen here in just a second. So you can see the shift pattern on the right. Notice how it says 1 low, 1 high in the upper left corner. Bottom left it says 2 low, 2 high, then 3 low, 3 high. It's very important to realize that the low gears are kind of like their own mode. So you've got a low mode, and then you've got your 6 highway gears. That's a different mode, and then your reverse is another one. It's kind of stacked on top of it. So rather than thinking about it in terms of like an upper range or a lower range, like on a 13 speed or an 18 speed, another distinction to make, it says low, 1 low, 1 high, 2 low, 2 high. Now normally if you have an 18-speed transmission, the shift pattern is pretty clear. Shift 1, you go 1 low, and then split 1 high. Then 2 low, split 2 high. And that is the shift pattern. That is the order that it goes in. That is not the way this transmission works. Even though it's labeled as 1 low and 1 high, the lows are in their own separate mode. The way you shift this is 1 low, 2 low, 3 low, and then you're done with the lows. Then you would go on to your 6 highway, 1 through 6. And then you can also go to your 6 reverse. Notice, and this is a very unique transmission. It's one of the only ones other than a car where first is in the upper left-hand corner, right? We have it here in the upper left-hand corner. and you have 6 spots and 6 gears. So as I said, 6 highway gears, 6 reverse gears, and 3 low gears. The 3 low gears really help in getting maximum torque. Probably the equivalent to this is to think about an Eaton Fuller transmission that has deep reduction. That's kind of it's like a low gear where you have very high ratios and you need lots of torque. That's kind of how these 3 low gears act. And the way that's achieved is we're going to do everything here splitter back. This is how the shift pattern is explained, and this is also explained on the page where you're going to get the transmission and you're going to get the gear layout file, and all of this is free, by the way. So we're going to go splitter back and make sure that your range knob is down. Once your range knob for the camera, there's my range knob, not up but down, and my splitter is not forward but it is back. We're going to go over and we're going to go into the first position. There's 1 low. Move it back. 2 low. Then we'll move it to the center top position. That is 3 low. Now we need to get into our highway gears, and the way that it is, the way that the gearbox layout file is written, we go ahead and flip the range up, and then we would go back to where position 1 is. Then we can carry out 1 through 6, and we're just going through each one of the 6 positions on the shifter. Now to do reverse, let's go back down into the lower range, and instead of having the splitter backwards, we've always had the splitter backwards for what we've done so far, for the low gears and the highway gears. In low range, let's put the splitter forward, and we'll go back to position 1, and that will put us in reverse 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Why do they have 6 reverse gears? Well, as I explained in the beginning, this is meant as an option for you if you want a lot of torque. If you're in a bad situation, let's say you're facing down a little bit, so you're down on a grade, and you've got 70,000 pounds behind you, and you're on gravel and you need to reverse. All of those things say, man, I don't know if I'm going to necessarily have enough power, but I believe, and I'll look it up here, so you can see on the screen. I'm looking here at the ratios, and if we look at reverse 1, the ratio is 22.12. That is a high ratio, and basically that means you're going to go slow, but you're going to have tons of torque to be able to reverse it. On the other hand, let's say you're on flatland, you're on asphalt, flat ground, and you're bobtailing. Well, you could go into like 5th or 6th because it has a much lower ratio, and you're probably going to save yourself some fuel that way, be a little bit more economical. Having the higher ratios does go through quite a bit of fuel, but at the same time, if you really need a lot of power to be able to move, well, it's a good thing to have. And that's really what this transmission was set up to do. If you're in situations where you're on hills, you're on loose gravel, you have heavy loads, it'll still be able to pull you out. Slow, but it will pull you out. And as we get on the drive, when I put on a load, you'll see that it's moving. It's moving slow, but it's not struggling. And here's the comparison. You know how if you have, let's say you have a 30,000, 40,000 pound load on your trailer, and you go to start out in 5th gear or 6th gear on an 18 speed. It might move, but it's going to move slow. It's the wrong gear and it's struggling. That is not the case with this transmission. It's going to move slow, but it's not struggling. It is pulling it along, and it'll get you out of some pretty sticky situations. I took a drive earlier, and I basically had it spec'd out the same way. I was carrying 77,000 pounds, and I was able to navigate hills and everything with a 300 horsepower engine, which is accurate to a Mack R or a Mack R600, which is what we're driving today. So even though I have a low horsepower engine, I have a transmission that's geared very high, And at the same time, if I go all the way up to the 6th highway gear, if you look here, where is it? There. Okay. Which is technically the 9th gear, the ratio is 0.71. So it's even less than 1. So you will be able to get highway speeds. And if you're in a hairy situation where, hills and loose gravel and you're on a job site and you need to go slow but pull 70, 80,000 pounds, this can still do it. It does both things really well. It's not going to be the best on the highway. You have to sacrifice a little bit of something. So I probably only get up to about 60 miles an hour, to be honest. But being able to pull easily 70,000 plus pounds with a 300 horsepower engine, and it's not struggling, it just goes slow, that's pretty good. So that's pretty much why I wanted to walk you through this transmission. It's a little bit different. You'll also see here on the transmission shift chart that we're shifting at about 2100 RPMs there along the top. So all of these gears are shifted at about 2100, and all of them more or less come in somewhere around 1300 to 1400. And that is a huge drop. Keep in mind, we're doing all this over 6 highway gears. So over 6 highway gears, you have a lot in each gear, which means that when you bring it up to 2100 RPMs, it's going to take probably a solid 3 seconds for it to drop down into the 13 to 1400 RPM range, which means it's going to be a long time once you take it out of gear until you can put it in the next one. And that's really important for those of you that like floating gears like me. It took a little bit of trial and error, but it does take a long time. It's like way longer. So I'll demonstrate that when we get into the drive. I believe I've mentioned just all the unique and quirky things about this transmission. Never really driven one like this in ATS so far. Let me know if you guys have, but I know that this transmission, the file, it's based on these actual specs and these actual ratios. And yeah, let's get into the drive. We're going to do a short drive to pick up, empty. We'll do another portion with a heavy load, and we'll see what the differences are, and I will walk you through the shift layout as we get to it. All right, I'll be right back. All right, let's go ahead and start her up. Beautiful E6 from SlavJerry. All right, let's get in. Put down the windows a little bit so we can hear it. So we're starting out here on the homestead here in Eagle Valley. I'm going to go into depth on this Matt VT yard in another video. I wanted to really keep it central to the transmission. All right, so we don't have a load. We can probably just go off and start off in our highway. So let's make sure our highway gears. Splitter is back and the range is up. That's what's going to get us one high, and we'll start off there. If we need any more, we'll go down, but this is plenty. And keep an eye on that tack, because it's going to take a long time for it to drop from 2100 RPMs down to that 1300, 1400 range where we can shift. I've been driving it now for 3 days, and I still am about 50-50 on getting the shift down. And at any time, it's actually going to calculate my route and find where we are. But I think at this point, we can just follow the road. All right, let's see if we can go into too high. Missed it. Missed it on the first one. I probably don't need to be going that fast anyway. So for those of you that this happens, you can't find your way on the GPS, and at the bottom of the screen it says calculating route. That sometimes happens when you're at a garage or you're at a home base. I just don't know where to go now. All right, It still isn't quite kicked in yet, but it will. Let's just get on the road here. See if we can shift it correctly this time. Got it. Took a long time. It's like a good 3 seconds. Yeah, I'm really gonna have to do a dedicated video on this whole mod here, from this whole Ewa Valley mod, because my homestead's up there, but down here there are 3 different places where we can get jobs, and there's a separate place where you can fuel up and park and rest. It's pretty complex. It seems to really be more of the theme now. Let's see if we can. That he has multiple points throughout a small area. A different place for the house, a different place for the yard. Oh, might have to jake here. Nice jake on that E6. I think we're just gonna go ahead and go straight. We got DFA up ahead here. Here's another gear change. Going to 3 high. Got it right. So it takes a long time. A little bit of, gotta give it some time. Get a feel for it. Here's the thing. There's a lot of room between these gears, so if you slow down, there's really nothing in the middle. It kind of feels like if you had in a regular like 18 speed. Imagine if you had like 1st gear and 4th gear, and you want something in between, but it's just not there. That's sometimes the way it feels. There we go, got it. We're floating it. I think this is the right way too. We still don't have any GPS. So you got a little bit of a feel for it. We don't have to use the low gears here, and you kind of get an idea of how long it takes to shift if you're floating. Slow way down here. I know that Matt VT put these roads in too. He does that a lot. He did that recently with his, it was the last one that I was on. It was his St. Regis. I believe that's up in Montana. Yeah, St. Regis, and he gave you, you know, you can pick up, do log loads and stuff like that, and he put in a road similar to this. It's real narrow, real, you know, got a good downhill on it. I think we go out here. Are we lost? Nah. I think we'll be good. Well, we got a little bit of grinding, but it went in that time. It's very particular. Good, we got it. No grinding. Since we're on the dirt here, I'll get those windows up. You can hear it. See if we have enough time to get up to 4th. Got it. Got it. It's rewarding when you finally get it into gear without the grinding. If you just want to drive and you don't want to think about the transmission, you don't like the challenge, you don't want to learn about anything new, I get it. It's not for everyone, but if you're looking for, you know, if you're a little bit bored with the same transmission and you're looking for something to be a little bit different, check out this gear layout for sure. Give yourself a little bit of a challenge. I believe this is where we're going. There's like 3 different pickup spots. There's a couple across the street too, like a whole farm as well. You can do cattle, you can do, you know, things like hay, you can do other loads like grain and barley and stuff like that. Let's check in. We are back. We now have some steel beams. It's coming in at 48,000 pounds. Not super heavy, but remember we do have a 300 horsepower engine in here. So we're really going to get the give the transmission a nice workout. I had to switch over to the Wade step deck. I've got it in black and orange to kind of match the truck. And for some reason it wasn't, the Mack step deck wasn't pulling any loads, or it was pulling loads, but it wasn't pulling any heavy ones. So now we've got 48,000 pounds on here. Still an hour-and-a-half drive.
The time has arrived, President Wazer. The world awaits your commands.
And we have Morgan. We have Morgan with us. All right, just to go out and go to the right, so let's get going. Starting out with 48,000 pounds, I'm going to probably put it down into a low gear, to be honest with you. So, range down, splitter still back. Let's try low 2. See, it pulls it out. It's not struggling. It's slow. Oh, didn't get it. Didn't get it. The low gears can be even more temperamental. They got to be right there exact. Sometimes I feel like I need to go 1,325, like exactly. That's how it feels. Did we get it? Nope. Nope. All right. All right, so that was my fault. We are in 3 low right now, and now we have to take it into 1 high, or the highway. So right when I get this shift, range up, over to first position. There we go, we got it. And now on to 2 high. Just really got to sit on it. It feels uncomfortable at first, but I've seen a lot of trucks in real life that actually shift that way. So this is the first truck in ATS that has a transmission that resembles something like that. So it's kind of cool. Get up into 3rd. Got it. It's 3 in a row. It really does feel rewarding, though.
Turn right.
It really does feel rewarding when you finally get it. It is a little bit of a challenge, but if that's what you like, give it a shot for sure. I'm going to go ahead and start out in low 2. Range is down. We'll go into the 2nd position.
Turn right.
Doesn't look like anyone's coming. The mirrors are good for visibility behind you, but sometimes they get in the way of your visibility, just looking up to the sides. I just used the clutch on that one. Let's go ahead, low 2. Going off to the right. You really have to be looking at that tack. And that's the only thing that's a little bit of a downside going into the high gears now. Is I spend so much time looking at the tack, I'm not even looking at like the surrounding. You know, is my trailer going to clear? Is there traffic that I'm pulling out? And I should always assume there is, because even if there's no one when I start the turn, someone spawns in just to get in my way. That's the way ATS works. Alright, we are underway. Let me see if I can get through some... It's taken a little bit longer for us to get up to speed, but I do want to give it a test because we were going downhill on a mountain road before. And once you get into it, because you're going into it at like 1,300 RPMs, like... I like being around 1,500 RPMs. It feels like 1,300 is too low, and it kind of takes us a little bit to kick back in. But if you're floating gears, you can't go in any higher than 13 or 14. You put it in at 15, and it's going to grind if you get it at all. That's just the way the ratios go in this transmission. For those of you that have driven a Mack, maybe you're familiar with an E6, or you're familiar with this TM-309.
Turn left.
If you are, and this is accurate, or I'm doing something wrong, please let me know. Or I said something inaccurate. I'm trying to get a feel for this too. You can always use those low gears to slow you down. It's nice. Starting out in low 2. Did that one without looking at the tack. Oh, my fault. Gotta do that again. I went for like a low 4 and it doesn't exist. Gotta go to the high range. There we go, we found it.
Take the 4th exit for America.
The 4th exit for America. You got it, Morgan. I missed a lot of shifts on hills anyway, but I miss virtually all of them on an uphill shifting in this truck. All of them. It does not pay to miss those gears. Alright. Just get on the freeway here. I had to double clutch. I'm not giving up. I'm not giving up. Alright, let's get it. There we go. Found that one. But we gotta...
Right. And then exit right.
Gotta slow down so much, you lose all your momentum. So
Exit right.
you really gotta, you know, pick and choose if you want to be able to float in this thing. Like, to be honest, if I'm going to be going uphill at all, I'm just going to go ahead and double clutch. You lose so much momentum and there's no gears in between. You have to start in that previous one or even the one below that, and you could lose like 30-40 seconds of progress building up to the speed. It really does hurt when you miss it. But if you like the challenge, a good challenge would be go ahead and take it for a drive and see how many times you miss the gear. And occasionally you get a little bit of grinding, but it goes in, that's fine. But can you get through a full drive
Exit right.
and actually keep it in gear with floating? That would be interesting.
Exit right.
Alright, let's get the Jake.
In 400 meters, turn right. Turn right.
Ooh, grinded, but I got it in there. We still have our Jake on? Yeah, we did.
In 400 meters, turn left. Turn left. In 400 meters, turn left. Turn left.
Alright, well, we made it. I'm going to go ahead and drop off this load here. Thank you guys for watching the video.
To see you through this mission.
Thank you guys for watching the video. And I hope you learned something. Let me know if you have any questions about the TM-309M MaxiTorque 9-speed transmission. Give me some ideas. Do you want to see videos like this in the future, or do you not want to see videos like this in the future? Yeah, give me some feedback. Okay, so before we end the video, I did want to let you know where you can go. If you go onto the Steam Workshop and you look up Fury 6, Fury 6, you'll see all of his different transmission mods that he has there. And look for the one that says TM-309M. It will be a 9-speed MaxiTorque, just like the one that we used here today. When you go ahead and subscribe to the app, when you subscribe to the mod, it installs it in your mod folder, just like you would in Steam. It's real easy. But then look down in the description, because he'll also have a gear layout file. You just download that from his Google Drive, throw it in one of your profiles that you want to use this truck in. All of these instructions that I've just given you right now are in the mod. On the Steam Workshop, you can follow it step by step. It's not hard. There's just multiple steps. So make sure you read the directions. Make sure you get the gear layout file. And I hope you have a good time with this. If you like what you saw here, go ahead and give me the thumbs up. Consider subscribing and hitting the notification bell so you can see all my videos. That's going to wrap it for this video, but I will see you on the next one. Take care.